Hello, this is Lisa Huening of The Shifting Path. I would like to welcome you to What I Wish I Knew. In this audio series, I'm talking to people who have been or are in a caregiving role for their family member. Today, my guest is Jill. She will be sharing with us one aspect of her experience in caring for her mom. Jill, thank you so much for joining me today.
Well, thank you, Lisa. I really appreciate you asking me.
You have so much, a really good aspect to share with people. And so I'd like to hear from you. What is the one thing that you wish you would have known?
Well, I work with seniors every day in my job and at a senior community, but I still wasn't fully prepared for dealing with a situation that came up with my own mother. When your parent is living with a significant other, there are a lot more dynamics to deal with than just what should we do for our own parent. You basically have no control over the decisions of their partner or their partner's family members. So moving my mother and her boyfriend of 8 years into a community went fairly smooth, and both families seemed to be on the same page. My mom and her boyfriend really enjoyed making new friends, dancing, singing, and all the other activities they were involved in. But after being in the community for about 9 months, my mom's ability to do things without assistance began to lessen, and her dementia was increasing, but she was still able to go to her exercise classes and really enjoy herself. She was also getting more assistance from the caregivers, but her boyfriend had a hard time letting go of that responsibility, so that became quite a problem. My mother was suddenly forced to move into a dementia unit because her partner's family decided that it would be too difficult for him to continue living with her. So the shock of this move was just so devastating for her that it basically sent her right over the edge. I've always heard that a move or losing a spouse or any major event had a huge impact on a senior, but I wish I had known the full impact of such a decision to suddenly move her to a memory unit. And I just think that we would have worked harder at keeping them together because they truly are soulmates, and now they're both lost. She's in her little world, and he's missing who she once was and his best friend. And in the end, I'm sure this is probably how the story would have gone, but not at the accelerated pace that it did. So I would just really implore people to think about the decisions they make and how it may affect others in the long run.
You've brought up two really good points. One is with someone who has dementia, it's very difficult to move them without there being consequences. It's tough for them to be moved. Mm-hmm. So when you make that decision to move someone and where they live, you really need to look at the circumstances because you don't want to be moving them multiple times. And the other aspect is they were truly just wonderful sweethearts to each other. And how old is your mom now?
She's 92.
So they've been together since she was, if I can do the math,
80-something.
5-ish. And so their relationship started when, you and your siblings and your mom's boyfriend's children were truly adults in their mid-years, and so that does add a whole other level of complication to when people have been used to caring for their own parent, and now they have this couple, but they've been a couple for 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
How is he?
It was.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say it was very difficult because you feel like you're kind of going the same direction, and then it was just a surprise to us.
Absolutely, and everybody has their own background and experiences that contribute to the way they think of what's best for their parent.
Mhm. And he's doing fairly well. He is quite sad. I do run into him when I go see my mom, and he lives at the place that I work, so I do get to see him quite often. And but other residents tell me, "Gosh, he looks so sad," and I say, it's too bad how it all came down, but he got a dog recently, so hopefully it's gonna be a nice comfort to him.
But that is hard because he's lost his best friend, and so that that separation, even though it wasn't death, hasn't been a death, it's still not any less traumatic. And you have to be careful of someone then going through experiences of depression because of it.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Well, it's just like a grieving process, everything that you lose as a senior. You lose your home because you need to move somewhere, or you might lose a spouse or things like that. And this, to me, is exactly the same. He's grieving for her even though she's still alive. So
Right, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing this. I think this is so important for people to hear about in how they make a decision with their family member and how it affects so many people.
It does. Well, thank you for inviting me, Lisa.
Thank you.